Hello, am I clearly audible? Hello, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. So, am I clearly audible? Just give me a second. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the current and legal brief. कैसे हैं आप लोग? I hope you guys are okay. So, today आज 11 जुलाई हो गया and आज हम लोग आज के important editorial and important articles of the day देखेंगे. So, we are beginning our first article from Tamil Nadu constituency cases. So this article mainly about explain that 5 Tamil Nadu constituency were vacant and High Court ordered the Tamil Nadu government to कि आप अपने स्टेट में बाई इलेक्शन करवाइए. Now try to understand what is by election. Try to understand what is by election. By elections क्या होते हैं? What is by elections? Is this like a normal elections that is conducted by authority, or it is something else? So try to understand by elections. By elections क्या होते हैं? By election ऐसे इलेक्शन होते हैं जो फिल करते हैं वैकेंट सीट को. वैकेंट सीट ऑफ elected office try to understand. Suppose a constituency A, there is a representative of the people is R. Now अगर ये इसका डेथ हो जाता है, ये मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हो, आई विल लेटर एक्सप्लेन. अगर ये एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में अगर ये या तो स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली का हो या फिर एमपी हो या एमएलए हो, अगर ये डेथ हो जाता है, इसका डेथ हो गया, रेजिग्नेशन, और ड्यू टू सर्टेन रीजन इनका डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन हो गया, और कोई कन्विक्शन हो, कोई मतलब कि एक्यूजिशन हो जो प्रूव हो गया, तो आप ये कन्विक्टेड हो गए, तो उस केस में जो डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन हो गया, और ऐसा केस या सिवियर इशू जैसे उनका लॉस ऑफ मेंबरशिप हो जाए, लॉस ऑफ मेंबरशिप हो गया, और किसी वजह से इलेक्शन ही वॉइड हो गया, तो इन इस रीज़नों की वजह से अगर कोई सी एमपी, एमएलए या स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली का रेजिग्नेशन, डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन हो जाता है किसी भी इनका एमपी एमएलए का, तो उस केस में एक इलेक्शन करवाया जाता है, उनको बोलते हैं बाई इलेक्शंस. तो क्यों होते हैं? अगर ये हट जाएंगे या इनका डेथ हो गया या रेजिग्नेशन हो गया, तो जो सीट है वो तो वैकेंट हो गई. Then in order to fill that seat, the government conduct by elections. So Did you get the point? What is by-election? The by-election which fill the vacant seat of any constituency that are elected before. So this is the by-election. Now try to understand the important articles that state to conduct by-elections. First, try to understand facts. बाई-इलेक्शंस कराने का मतलब बाई इलेक्शन शुड ऑर्डिनरली बी कंडक्टेड विद इन 6 मंथ. 6 मंथ के अंदर में ही उस फील्ड सीट के वैकेंट होने के अंदर 6 मंथ के अंदर 6 मंथ ऑफ सीट वैकेंट. सपोज पर्सन कोई 1 जनवरी को वैकेंट हो जाता, मतलब सीट छोड़ देता, रेजिग्नेशन या डेथ हो गया, तो उसको 1 जुलाई को तक उस सीट पे बाई इलेक्शन हो जाना चाहिए, नहीं तो वो सीट डिस्क्वालीफाई हो जाती है. इट मे नॉट इट द रिमेनिंग लेस देन 1 ईयर इन सर्टेन लाइक इमरजेंसी सिचुएशंस, देन इट एक्सटेंडेड 6 मंथ टू 1 ईयर इन इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन. या कोई स्टेट उस टाइम में मतलब कि नॉट एबल टू कंडक्ट द इलेक्शन, सो दिस इज द 6 month to between 1 year in emergency situation, applicable to Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and some state legislative. I already said MP, MLA and state legislative assembly. Now try to understand voting system. बाई इलेक्शंस में वोटिंग सिस्टम कैसे होते हैं? ऑब्वियसली सेम एज जनरल इलेक्शन होता है, यूनिवर्सल एडल्ट सफरेज से 18+, and like EVMs and VPPAT in such a secret ballot. This was the, now try to understand important article. Article 324, Election Commission of India, ECI, Election Commission of India. Article 326, election based on adult suffrage. Election based on adult suffrage. And two important act is that representation of people Act 1950 and representation of representation of people Act 1951. Try to understand this was the reason, what is the conduction, or what are the we can say how elections are conducted as usual, common, and legal basis is governed primarily by Representation of People Act 1951. Just give me a second. This Representation of People Act 1950 is for the people, citizen of India. Citizen of India. In this act, it said qualification of citizen to vote in a democracy. And this article, this act is based for our representation of those who represent the people of India, like your MP, MLA, or state legislative assembly, or any local body authority that are elected, just as Panchayati Raj. This act is for these people, those who represent the people, and Representation of People Act 1950 is for citizen of India. And in this act, we have already seen SIR. SIR is for in the which act is in Representation of People Act 1958. तो इस रिप्रेजेंटेशन पीपल एक्ट 1950 बोलता है कि आप सिटीजन को कैसे क्वालिफाई करोगे कि वो वोट दे सकते हैं नहीं दे सकते हैं, कौन देश का मतलब कि कौन सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया है, कौन सिटीजन ऑफ पीपल ऑफ इंडिया नहीं है, उनको कौन मतलब वोट दे सकता है, लाइक एडल्ट सफ्रेज वी हैव सीन आर्टिकल 326. So this is this article for this act for representation of people of India, representation of people act for just for 1950 for citizen of India. Then we will 1951 is RPA 1951 is for the representation of people, those who represent the people, like MP, MLA, state legislative assembly, or like local body authorities. In as I already said, this for those who represent the people, their qualification, what are the grounds that they can qualified for the conducting election, and what are the grounds that they can be held or disqualify in certain grounds. So these are the acts for uh, those who represent the people of India. Voting system as usually universal adult suffrage based. By election is held, election to filled casual vacancy conducted by ECI for parliamentary and state assembly. Normal deadline already I said 6 months to a normal deadline 6 months, but in case of like emergency we will go 1 to 1 year. Now this was the understanding of by elections. Now we will move to the our article. So Tamil Nadu High Court stated the government to fill the five constituency which is currently five constituency which is currently vacant. So this is these are the constituency and their representative. So it's stated that the government to fill the vacancy before their expiring or of time period. So this was our article. Now move to the another article for our class. Government defend E20 and admits mileage may drop by 3 to 5%. Now earlier government used to say that no, your आपकी गाड़ी खराब नहीं होगी, आप E20 फुल यूज को आपको अच्छा फील मिलेगा और उसके आपसे गाड़ी नहीं होगी ना. अब गवर्नमेंट खुद एग्री कर रही है कि नहीं बाब भाई आपकी गाड़ी खराब हो जाएगी, आप इससे 3 to 5% आपकी माइलेज मतलब ये हो जाएगी गाड़ी की. आई विल ब्रेक डाउन दिस आर्टिकल इन अवर हियर, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड the fact. First of all, why this article in the news? Because the union government defended E24 E20 fuel से. अब अर्लियर वो एग्री नहीं करते थे कि नहीं आपका ये फ्यूल बेटर है, आपकी गाड़ी को कोई माइलेज नहीं होगा, बट अब वो यूनियन गवर्नमेंट एग्री करते हैं. क्या एग्री करते हैं कि E20 फ्यूल से 3 to 5% माइलेज ड्रॉप हो गई आपकी गाड़ी की. माइलेज ड्रॉप 3 to 5%. So this why the news in why in this article is in the union government defended its E20 20% ethanol blended petrol program after criticism that vehicle may experience 3 to 5% drop in mileage. The Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas clarified that the lower mileage is offered by environment and energy security benefit. Then try to understand. Many people is now I have that what is E20. Try to understand E20 first, and then you will understand the whole issue. E20 is 20% ethanol plus 80% petrol. 20% ethanol, like in a 100 ml. Try to understand, in a 100 ml jar, this is a glass of water of 100 ml. आप बोल रहे हो इसमें 20 ml इथेनॉल है और 80 ml petrol. This is the 20 ml. This is the try to understand 20 ml ethanol and 80 ml petrol in a 100 ml. So part of national biofuel policy and ethanol blended program, it aims to reduce, as per the government, it aims to reduce dependency on imported crude oil and promote cleaner fuel. This is the government points. And now the mileage, some vehicle may lose as per the public point of view, some vehicle may lose 3 to 5% fuel economy, and cleaner fuel lower participate matter emission. Now why isn't the E20 cheaper than petrol? If you are mixing E20 to E20 fuel and you are giving E20 ethanol with 20% ethanol blended fuel, then why not it is a cheaper? As the government used to promise to the people that when we offer ethanol blended fuel, there is maybe a price change and it will be declined, but ultimately it increase. And why they don't give cheaper fuel than petrol? Ethanol is purchased as a remunerated price to support farmer. Ethanol is purchased for remunerated price to the farmer. Ethanol blended, just give me a second. Ethanol production, transport and storage add cost. When crude oil prices are low, around $17 barrel per, E20 may not be cheaper. If crude oil rises 120 to 133 barrel, ethanol become more economical. This is not my statement, it is the government statement. Here you can see $70 and E20 actually considered to produce then pure petrol, the government explained. अगर आपका इथेनॉल का प्राइस जैसे इंपोर्ट होने के टाइम में 120 टू 130 डॉलर पर बैरल पहुंच जाता है, तो उस केस में आपका प्राइस जो अभी जो प्रेजेंट है, तो वो गवर्नमेंट एज पर गवर्नमेंट वो आपको नॉमिनल दिखेगा. Try to understand the advantage and disadvantage of this ethanol 20% ethanol blended fuel. First of all, as per the government, it reduce crude oil import, reduce crude oil dependency. Crude oil dependency. Improve energy security. Improve energy security. Lower greenhouse effect. Lower greenhouse effect. Lower greenhouse effect. Support sugarcane and maize farmer. Best engine combustion due to high octane. Promotes biofuel industry and rural income. Now what are the challenges? These were the pros, and now we try to understand what are the challenges. Try to understand. Now government, they defend that 3 to 5% reduction in mileage. 3 to 5% mileage reduction. Older vehicle may not be fully compatible. Older vehicle, आप पुरानी गाड़ी पे नहीं, vehicle उतनी efficient नहीं होगी, because their engine are not capable to run ethanol fuel, so they will be not compatible for this fuel. Higher water requirement for sugar cultivation. 1 liter petrol, 1 liter ethanol cost around 1200 liter water. This was the two environmental dangerous. आप 1 लीटर इथेनॉल बना रहे हो 1200 लीटर पानी में, then this is not something economical for the government, and long term में ये benefit नहीं है, but short term we can say. Now food versus fuel concern. If excessive gain is diverted, अगर आप सारे किसान अगर मतलब सुगर केन को इस मोटिव से बेचें कि वो इथेनॉल के लिए भी जाएगा, तो देन आवर इंडस्ट्री, शुगर केन इंडस्ट्री विल बी कोलैप्स, क्योंकि सारे किसान आप इथेनॉल के लिए दे रहे हैं, देन हु विल गिव टू द देयर sugar cane to their respective industry, and where will get the our sweeteners. So there is a concern between food versus fuel. आपने फूड को फ्यूल बना रहे हो, फूड को ही फ्यूल बना रहे हो, then there is a concern, and then ultimately we have to import once another things like sugar cane we have are importing currently. Infrastructure for storage and distribution need expansion. So these were the policy 20% ethanol blending fuel. Significance are economical, reduce in the Indian oil import. This is the only, I think, as far as my view, only this is the only point that reduce Indian oil import bill, and another other all the reason are not valid and not practical. Environmental, you are environmental. If you will go environmental, then you will have to face the criticism of water. आप इन्वायरमेंटल इमिशन कम कर रहे हो, लेकिन आप वाटर कंजम्पशन ज़्यादा ले रहे हो. अल्टीमेटली विदाउट वाटर हाउ कैन वी से एनी स्टेट कैन सर्वाइव? देयर एग्रीकल्चर प्रैक्टिस विल बी completely destroyed. Then how they will produce the food, and ultimately it lead to their famine. So this is the breakdown of today in this article. Then government needs the practical approach, not this like E20 blended fuel. We need a practical solution that are environmental, practical, nominal. Sorry, we need environmental, practical, nominal solution that are sustainable for future development. That are sustainable for future, not only in present. We need sustainable approach that cannot affect our day-to-day life. So these are the breakdown of this article. So we will move to the another important article of the day is like PM New Zealand visit will unlock new avenue of cooperation government. Now we have seen that Prime Minister Modi, I already said that PM Modi were in 3 nation trip. First he went to the Indonesia. Yesterday he went to New Zealand. Sorry. Currently he's in New Zealand, and yesterday he was in Australia. Now he's and it is the last nation trip. PM Modi in 3 nation trip. So we will discuss this. Try to understand Indian New Zealand relations. Just give me a second. So Indian New Zealand relation. Then first point, first the important fact you have to remember: New Zealand capital is Wellington, not Washington. It's Wellington. Wellington है उसका capital है. Washington, again I'm saying Washington is, this is American, USA capital. Wellington, try to understand Wellington. And their currency is New Zealand dollar, NZD, New Zealand dollar. And current prime minister, this person, this is Christopher Luxon. Christopher Luxon is the PM. And Charles III is the king of New Zealand, because they are a constitutional monarchy and democracy. And Kindi Cairo is their governor, lieutenant, LG. Official language is English, obvious, because of New Zealand is also one of the British colonies. Maori, their indigenous or local language, and New Zealand Sign Language. These are the official language. Auckland is the popular and most famous city of New Zealand. So this is the important fact that you have to remember about New Zealand. Now try to understand. Now listen here. This is the Australia, and this is the New Zealand, and it is an island nation in southern West Pacific Ocean. In southern West Pacific Ocean, you can see here Africa, India, and this is in what we can say Australia and New Zealand, where it is stated in southern West Pacific Ocean. Now we will see Indian New Zealand bilateral relations. हमारा डिप्लोमेटिक रिलेशन कब स्टैब्लिश हुआ? 1952 में. When? 1952. Both country once part of a British Empire, और it once a colony. एक टाइम में ये कॉलोनी हुआ करता था ब्रिटिश एम्पायर का. Now in 2000 we have seen that India and New Zealand is not that much partnership. It is just a nominal bilateral relations we have seen. In recent time we have seen a development in our relations, like in 2017. In 2017, India New Zealand cyber dialogue were signed, and it was the first dialogue of our bilateral relations. And later in 2016, Pranab Mukherjee, it is important fact of for the any particular examination like AILET and Jamia. Pranab Mukherjee was the first president of India, become the first president of India to visit New Zealand in August 2016. At this time he is the only president, Pranab Mukherjee, who went to New Zealand, who visit to in New Zealand. Now first European visitor to New Zealand were Dutch explorer. His name is Abel Tasman, and this fellow Abel Tasman named this island as a Station Island. Staten Island. This fellow named the island is a Staten Island. We have seen that India New Zealand में कुछ खास relation नहीं है. This is only a nominal relations. Now we are developing. We have seen a recent development in our relations, like we are participating in a defense activity, like we are annual exercise we are doing. Not we are doing like we are a member of United Nations. We are a member of a World Trade Organizations. And this is the point that you have to understand. And now this is all the point. कुछ खास आर्टिकल नहीं है, कुछ खास strategic partnership नहीं है. Only that you can see PM Modi arrived in New Zealand after concluding 3-day visit to Australia. He held summit with PM Antonio Albanese of Australia. Both leaders reinforced the vital role of the bilateral part. This is the Indian-Australian. A major highlight of the summit talk between two leaders were their focus on significantly ramping of defense ties, especially in maritime domain. Maritime is important. Agreement on civil nuclear energy. This for the Australia, not for New Zealand. He also met Australian leader of opposition. This is the only. Mr. Modi was in Indonesia before that, where 14 agreement were for Indian Indonesia 14 agreement were signed. So this was the overall breakdown of this article, and that's not important. And any examination, if there any point will become, then I have already discussed here. Like if they ask your what is the capital of New Zealand, and what currency of New Zealand, and current PM, famous city of Auckland, and current king of New Zealand. When was diplomatic relations start? I already stated there. And which president became the only president who traveled to New Zealand? So we will move to our next article. Now, try to understand FCRA bill. FCRA bill. Catholic body meets Home Minister Shah flag concern over FCRA bill. Try to understand this bill, and it is important bill. Why? First of all, try to understand why this article in news. Because article report that Catholic Bishop Conference of India (CBCI) Catholic Bishop Conference of India (CBCI) meet Union Home Minister. Why they meet? Because there is a concern about FCRA. FCRA, what is FCRA? FCRA, try to understand this bill. FCRA is foreign contribution regulation amendment बिल 2026. इस बिल ये स्टेट करता है arguing that some what is FCRA? FCRA is a law regulate the acceptance and utilization of foreign contribution. FCRA ये regulate करता है just give me. FCRA regulate this किसी भी NGO या एसोसिएशन हो गया, NGOs हो गया, ये कंपनीज दैट आर फॉर पब्लिक वेलफेयर और देयर प्राइवेट कंपनीज जो FCRA रेगुलेट NGOs एसोसिएशन कंपनीज के जो रेगुलेट एक्सेप्टेंस, क्या एक्सेप्टेंस हो सकता है? एक्सेप्टेंस फॉरेन फंड, मतलब कोई बाहर का विदेश का अनदर नेशन citizen can send their for their fund like money. They can send money, gifts, securities to the respective NGOs. Then there is a at this time there is no any authority to regulate that मतलब कहाँ से आपके पास इतना पैसा आया, कहाँ से ये फंड आया, फॉरेन फंड, तो उसका कोई till now there is no any authority. So what is FCRA doing? FCRA regulating and monitoring foreign FRE, just foreign contribution, foreign funds contribution, such as money or any gifts or in there any securities such as land or any stock price securities by to any individual. The main concern is that or the main purpose of FCRA is to regulate acceptance of foreign funds and utilizations, where you are what is you accepting and where you are utilizing this fund. So the objective is for the government objective is to regulate, first of all, preventing foreign money from influencing India. Influencing India's sovereignty, 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 integrity, national security, public interest, and democratic institutes. So, for regulating for FCRA, FCRA prevent foreign money from influencing India's national secure sovereignty, integrity, national security, public interest, and democratic institution. The current law is the Foreign Contribution Act 2010, administered by Ministry of Home Affairs. Now try to understand any NGO, trust, or society or association receiving foreign donation, any association, any NGOs, trust, any NGOs, any NGOs, any NGOs, trust, or any society association receiving foreign donation for in the form of education, healthcare, social welfare, religion activity, cultural program, or economic development must obtain FCRA regulations. अब उनको FCRA regulations रजिस्ट्रेशन FCRA से रजिस्ट्रेशन कराना ही होगा. FCRA registration prior permission from Ministry of Home Affairs. पहले आप उनको किसी रजिस्ट्रेशन की ज़रूरत नहीं थी. कोई भी एनी पार्ट ऑफ द कंट्री वर्ल्ड से कोई भी पैसा किसी भी एनजीओ को डाल सकते थे. नाउ अगर आपको पैसा रिसीव करना है किसी भी आप एनजीओ से हो, आप किसी ट्रस्ट से, आप एसोसिएशन से हो, तो आपको FCRA फॉरेन कंट्रीब्यूशन रेगुलेशन एसोसिएशन फॉरेन कंट्रीब्यूशन रेगुलेशन एक्ट के अंदर आपको रजिस्ट्रेशन करवाना होगा. आपको प्रायर परमिशन लेना होगा. कहाँ से लेना होगा? फ्रॉम मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर से लेना होगा. सो दिस वाज द concept for FCRA. Now Catholic body meeting to Union government Amit Shah like that they are raising the because that asset takeover, the government appoint authority could take control or asset after cancellation of or lapses of registration. Government, what are the pros of that a government is stating that it can secure our national security, transparency and prevent misuse of foreign fund, better regulations होगा. लेकिन क्रिटिसिज्म द मोर एग्जीक्यूटिव कंट्रोल हो सकता है, पॉसिबल इम्पैक्ट ऑन सिविल सोसाइटी एंड चैरिटेबल वर्क. So this was a breakdown of FCRA. Now you can see here the Catholic Bishop of India and submitted memorandum against the FCRA to Home Minister Amit Shah, advisor to apex body for Catholic Church in India, Cardinal Anthony Metropolitan Acrobis of Hyderabad and CBCI President and Anil Metropolitan. This is the sort of audience. The main concern is that to stop this regulation bills. This was the article breakdown. Sorry. Now we will move to our next editorial. Terrorist data reiterates hides emerging global threats. Written by Shashi Tharoor. Try to understand this editorial. First of all, why I use this editorial? Because global terrorism related deaths reportedly decline. The editorial caution that a declining number do not necessarily mean terrorism is weakening. Declining number doesn't mean terrorism is weakening. Is weakening. Instead, terrorism is becoming more localized, decentralized, technology driven, and adaptive, creating a new security challenge. Earlier, there use पहले हम लोग earlier we have seen that terrorism definition where that those who मतलब kill innocent civilians and try to harm the any country sovereignty are the people who terrorism. Now there is now a definition. They are more localized, decentralized, technological driven, like any hackers who hack any country, important information, necessary information that can that based on that information a country is running. Then this is also a digital terrorism. And what is the central theme of this editorial? Try to understand, because central, once you understand central theme, you understand everything. So um, if you want to understand any editorial, किसी भी editorial आपको समझना है तो आप उसके central theme को आप समझ जाओ. अगर आप central theme समझ जाते हो तो आपके लिए आसानी होगी वो article समझने में. What is the central theme of this article? Try to understand. सेंट्रल थीम ये है कि डिक्लाइनिंग इन ग्लोबल टेररिज्म statistics should not create complacency because terrorism is evolving. Declining global terrorism doesn't mean that terrorism is weakening. Rather, terrorism is evolving. Terror is evolving. And it is decentralizing. Becoming more powerful in technological driven field, technology driven, and more localized and disappearing. Rather than disappearing, counter-terrorism strategy must adapt to this changing pattern. Now, the terrorism doesn't mean that you are having a AK-47 in your hand and you are killing innocent people. Now, terrorism definition is evolving. They are more decentralizing to your field. You can't imagine a terrorist is hiding behind you in your surrounding, and you even probably don't know. I mean, it can be a digital terrorism. A hacker from another country is breaking down your sovereignty, integrity, public order. So this is the this is the central theme, and another how to counter this approach. How India can become more technological driven in order to counter this attack, in order to identify the attack and try to possibly degrade this terrorism. So, editorial concern that the government may wrongly assume terrorism is under control. Government may गवर्नमेंट में आर्ग्यू, गवर्नमेंट समझ रही है कि टेररिज्म अंडर कंट्रोल है, कि टेररिज्म की लाइक व्हाट वी कैन से स्टैटिस्टिक कम हो गया है तो टेररिज्म कंट्रोल में. नो, Terrorism is not a control, rather it is evolving, more decentralizing. Terror group are becoming smaller, decentralized, and harder to detect. Problem concern of this editorial is terrorism is evolving, becoming small, decentralized, and harder to detect. मॉडर्न टेररिज्म क्या होता है? मॉडर्न टेररिज्म इंक्रीजिंगली एक्सप्लॉइट पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी, किसी भी देश में जाके कुछ पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी कर देते हैं, वीक गवर्नेंस को वीक कर देते हैं, बॉर्डर रीजन्स हो गया, डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म लाइक हैकिंग इन सेंट्रल और कोर आइडियाज, एक कोर डेटास ऑफ गवर्नमेंट, ongoing geopolitics effects. So, editorial assume that statistic alone cannot accurately reflect security threat. कि हाँ आपने स्टैटिक देख लिया कि यहाँ स्टैटिक, जस्ट गिव मी सेकंड, आपने स्टैटिक देख लिया, क्या स्टैटिस्टिक था 2020 में 100 टेररिस्ट थे, अब 2026 चल रहा है, तो अब यहाँ 80 हो गए या 70 हो गए, तो आपने स्टैटिक्स देख लिया, हाँ 80-70 हो गए, but I will try all the statics alone cannot accurately reflect a security threat. और क्या पता उस समय इन 100 लोग के पास सिर्फ 1 AK-47 हो, ना इनके पास AK-47 हो, हैकिंग स्किल्स हो, लाइक एनी टैंक हो, so you cannot accurately reflect the security threat by alone, by alone looking to statistic. आप statistics देख के alone ये नहीं cannot be assume that they are weak, rather they can be evolving, more technological driven, more security threat than earlier it used to be. So the terrorism evolved with changing politics and technological environment. Yes, and it's definitely true. Terrorism evolve कर रहा है, कैसे evolve कर रहा है? Changing political and environmental, and prevention is more effective than only reacting after attack. So you have आपने ये सुना होगा, prevention is better than cure. प्रिवेंशन किसी भी चीज का बेटर होता है उसके क्योर से, आफ्टर इफेक्ट होने के बाद जो क्योर कर रहे हो उसे बेटर आप प्रिवेंट कर लो. प्रिवेंशन आर्टिकल में आर्ग्यू दैट ऑफ सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट prevention from security threat better than conducting like a what you can surgical strike or attack. And you can prevent, you try to understand, identify the threats, try to figure out where the terrorist is hiding. So this is the author concern and author assumption. Strong institution reduce the risk of extremist violence. Key highlights: what is the declining in terrorism doesn't means the article highlight that global terrorist death have reportedly fallen. Many countries have improved internal security, but hidden reality क्या? Hidden reality violence is concentrated in few conflict prone region. Terrorism has become fragmented, smallest and decentralized. Our Indian conflict zone is क्या? पाकिस्तान है, साहेल रीजन है, डेमोक्रेटिक रिपब्लिक ऑफ कोंगो एंड वेस्ट एशिया. This region continue to witness high terrorist activity. Digital radicalization. So the solution क्या? What are the solutions suggested by the editorial to strengthen the state capacity? Better governance होना चाहिए. Strength. We should strengthen the state capacity to counter the terrorist attack. बेटर गवर्नेंस होना चाहिए, स्ट्रॉन्ग इंस्टीट्यूशन होना चाहिए, इफेक्टिव पॉलिसिंग होना चाहिए, इंटेलिजेंस शेयरिंग होना चाहिए, अच्छा इंटरनेशनल कोऑपरेशन होना चाहिए, रियल टाइम इंटेलिजेंस एक्सचेंज होना चाहिए, काउंटर ऑनलाइन रेडिकलाइजेशन होना चाहिए, रेगुलेट एक्सट्रीमिस्ट डिजिटल कंटेंट होना चाहिए, एक्सट्रीमिस्ट का कंटेंट होता है, मॉनिटर ऑनलाइन रिक्रूटमेंट होना चाहिए, फोकस ऑन प्रिवेंशन, प्रिवेंशन इज बेटर देन क्योर, आई ऑलरेडी स्टेट दैट प्रिवेंशन करो किसी रेडिकलाइजेशन से, कम्युनिटी इंगेजमेंट, कम्युनिटी की ट्राई टू बैलेंस कम्युनिटी की कम्युनिटी इंगेजमेंट, यूथ एम्पावरमेंट अच्छे होने चाहिए, resolving conflict, political dialogue, diplomatic solution. And what are the Indian perspective? Cross-border terrorism. Indian faces obviously our country main challenge is cross-border terrorism. Cross-border terrorism, radicalization, terror financing, drone-based infiltration, cyber-enabled extremist attack. So we should try to more technological driven than terrorist, and we should prevent before their attack. So our instant intelligence sharing technology, improve surveillance technology. So this is the breakdown of this article. If you want to understand one line summary, I will the editorial argue that following terrorism statistics should not create complacency or delusion, because terrorism is evolving. Rather, it became decentralized, more decentralized, technological driven, and conflict linking network that require preventive intelligence lead and internationally coordinated counterterrorism and strategies. So this was the complete breakdown of this article. If you ask me, I will in in one para. If I have to explain this someday, is like कि टेरर अभी इन वर्ल्ड में टेरर का जो काउंटर स्ट्राइक होता है, किलिंग होता है, वो कम हो गया. देन गवर्नमेंट शुड नॉट एज्यूम दैट टेररिज्म खत्म हो गया. टेररिज्म खत्म नहीं हुआ, रेदर अब वो और डिसेंट्रलाइज हो गया है. टेक्नोलॉजिकल उसके पास वॉरफेयर हो गया है, साइबर और एआई अटैक, साइबर अटैक और हो चुके हैं, और साइबर अटैक और एआई अटैक और टेक्नोलॉजिकल ड्राइवन हो गया है, मोर लोकलाइज्ड हो गया है. सो दिस because of statistic report that terrorist is declining doesn't mean it's what we can security threat is declining. We cannot assume a security threat by looking at a statistic report. So we need more sustainable approach, like we need more technological development, warfare and intelligence sharing, and try to more international cooperation, better linking, and so in order, so therefore we will counter this attack. So this was the complete today's breakdown of the newspaper. If you guys enjoy it, then please, I will request to um, connect with me and try to visit daily and subscribe our channel. We will bring more such content in later. Like we will try develop. We are planning to. We are planning for weekly current affair. We are planning weekly current affair every Sunday. Every Sunday, we are planning every Sunday. Like as far as I know, and that tomorrow I will conduct a class for from 1 to 10 July. Important articles. What are the issues that we have seen in our recent time? What are the like any issues like Iran Israel ceasefire breakdown? We will see. We will try. We will figure out the historical approach. We will try to understand Indian where India positions. We will see the relations and country visit by PM Narendra Modi. So we are planning a weekly current affair tomorrow. So that's all. Thank you everyone.